Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I'm going to do another video on how Spirit communicates with us. I did one a while back called Spirit Speaks, Are You Listening? And it seems to be the most popular one that I have recorded. So I'm going to do chapter 2 of that and give you more examples on how Spirit can communicate and give you some instances where it's worked for me. First, let me just talk a little bit about what I'm doing right now. I am still writing. I am still giving readings through Zoom on the phone or in person. Still in the Seattle area for a few more months, planning on driving east maybe at the beginning of October, but still unsure as of yet. Please follow me here, subscribe to my channel. I'm not a fan that we have to have so many people subscribe and so many likes in order for a publisher, an agent, or someone to find me or want me to teach a class. That's what we rely on these days, and I'm thinking there's going to be a shift someday with regard to that. But in the meantime, it's always great to have another like, another subscriber, another follower, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and also helps other people. If you read my testimonial page, the comments I get from other people definitely help anybody else who might be sitting on the fence with regards to having a reading with me. Okay, so let's get right to how other ways that Spirit communicate. Let me say first that nothing is set in place. Loved one spirit guides. There's not a specific way that they may or may not. Every soul is different in how they choose to communicate. They have to take lessons the way that we would here in the physical plane. So they would have to take lessons in the spirit world. So if one of your loved ones has recently crossed a long time ago, tell them to go take a class if you're not hearing from them. Just say, hey, go take a class. I hear there's things you can do to learn how to communicate with me. So let's go through a few more of what's been happening to me. The TV turning on by itself or off by itself. Off by itself is a pretty easy thing to do in spirit world. But to turn a TV on, to have Spirit turn a TV on by itself, now that's something different. I remember when I was living in Virginia, a long time ago, with my cousin and his wife, and I went away for a couple days, and my cousin called me and said, could you tell Spirit to turn the TV off in your room, because every time we go in to turn it off, they turn it back on again. So I laughed, and my cousin was saying, we don't want to go in the room anymore. I said, that's fine, they're just playing with you guys. So here in Seattle, I lived with them again, and the same thing happened a month or so ago. The TV started turning on. So my cousin told me about this as we were driving one day, and I said, okay, well, let's ask them if that's what they're doing. So I said to Spirit right then, out loud, with my cousin present, I said, look, Spirit, if this is you turning on the TV, do it one more time and have it turned on when we get home this afternoon. Sure enough, as soon as we got home, we went to the room where the TV was, and it was on. So I just asked them, don't do it anymore, you're freaking them out. But that's okay too. But one way that is not as popular to do, but pretty hard to do in the world of spirit. Another one might be a thought, part of your intuition, where you may ask a question and immediately comes to your mind the answer. Today, for example, for me, having some physical body stuff going on. I think I'm going to go back to acupuncture. Massage wasn't cutting it. I said, let me go back to acupuncture. And I looked at a couple different sites, and I immediately was drawn to this one site, and everything in me felt resonating with it. So I called that one person. So that sort of thought, being in connection with your intuition, is a great way that Spirit speaks to you through your intuition and your thought. Another way is apports. Apports are something physical, something tangible that can get transported from the non-physical to the physical. Like if you lose your keys, sometimes I say that Spirit screwing around with you, that they have taken them out of the physical world, brought them into the non-physical world, and then put them somewhere else in the physical world. So they are able, Spirit is able to take something out of the physical world and put it back in the physical world in a different place. I told a story about the penny that dropped right in front of me It's too long of a story to tell now, but look for that on one of my other YouTube videos. So that's another way, apports. If I lose my keys or if I lose something, I say, Spirit, stop screwing with me, show me where they are. And I will get a thought that they are someplace. And that's another way they communicate with you. Goosebumps are a good one. A lot of you have experienced that, right? When you're on the right track, when you got something going on, you just said something that really resonated, or someone said something to you that felt really good, you get goosepimples. That's another way Spirit says, that's it, you've got it, keep going. We've all had those. Great way Spirit communicates. How about if your car or your house are having troubles? I have someone that is constantly saying that their car is giving them troubles, a brand new car. Your car and your home, even in dreams, if you dream about your car or your home, that's Spirit telling you that your physical body is being neglected. In a dream or in reality, your car and your home are manifestations of your physical body. So if you have a dream that like one time I had a dream that my car drove right into my house. It took me a while to interpret that, but it was a big eye-opening message that my body was ready to move forward, to break all the limits I had for myself in this present time. So in the physical form, if you're having trouble with your car or your home, look at ways where you probably aren't taking care of yourself. So do a little bit more self-care with that. And pay attention to your dreams. Absolutely. Movies, TV movies. I'll tell a good example. When I was in Florida just this past winter, I got into Hallmark Channel movies. They were doing all Christmas movies, so I just got sucked into watching a bunch of those. And I was at a point where I was asking Spirit, okay, show me. And I turned on a movie and didn't look at the description. And it turned out it was a movie about an author. And the name of her publishing firm was Spirit Publishing. So in that moment, I went, wow, they are really trying to tell me something, aren't they? And I say thank you, right? I always say thank you to all of these instances that happen. The next week, I was in Florida still. I wasn't feeling well. I wasn't feeling well physically. So I said, Spirit, I want to watch a movie today, and I don't want any messages from you. Just let me watch a movie that means nothing to my path. So I look at the description, and it's about a female doctor who wants to get away from the city and her job and goes to her family's, I think it was a pear farm in upstate somewhere. So I said to myself, all right, this is going to have nothing to do with publishing. This is a good one. So I'm halfway through the movie. I'm enjoying it. And there's nothing about publishing or books or spirit or anything. And they finally say the doctor's first name, and her name is Luna. Luna is the main character, one of the main characters in a big YA novel that I'm writing. So in that moment, I'm like, you couldn't just give me one movie without anything. You had to still send me aside. So I immediately said thank you and said, okay, I know I'm meant to write this book. By the way, the book is done, first draft. I just need a little help with that. So this is what happens about the time when I start querying agents and publishers, whatever, trying to get the word out there. And they want to see that you have followers, unfortunately. But I haven't done that yet. I'm still writing all the other books, so it's still in the process. Another way that you have messages from Spirit are twinkling lights. Have you ever seen like a purple light or a white flicker of light just out of the corner of your eye, and then you go to turn and it's gone? That's a big way that they communicate. I see them a lot. And even though it doesn't say anything to me, I actually always say thank you for reminding me that you're right there with me. Then when I close my eyes at night, I sometimes see these big flashes of light behind my eyes. And I open my eyes and I think maybe there was somebody turned the light on in the hallway, but there's nothing. It's pitch black in my room. That's the way Spirit says, look, I'm even with you when you close your eyes. Another one is your car radio. So I was at Omega last year and I met a guy. And I was like, wow. Immediately when I met him, I felt this past life draw to him. I knew it was something in a past life. We got along great, but we had to say goodbye that day. He was not hanging around there. So I was driving in my car that day, and I asked Spirit, if that was the guy, send me a sign. And immediately on the radio came the song, and the words were, "Any girl like you deserves a gentleman." And I wasn't sure. At that moment, I was like, oh yeah, it's him. Maybe he'll contact me. Or thinking back on it now, it might have been, look, you deserve a gentleman, and maybe he wasn't the right one. I just got that right now. So maybe that wasn't a confirmation. That was, Donna, think a little bit more about that one. Maybe he isn't the right one. So I guess you could take these messages two different ways. I'm even realizing that myself right now. Funny. Good one, Spirit. Thank you. Always say thank you. So my final one I'm going to talk about is, let me tell you one more. Sometimes a cell phone will ring. If someone you love has crossed over, within the next week or two, your cell phone may ring with their name on the screen and there'll be nobody there. It happened to a customer I had coming through the car wash I used to work at. And I overheard his wife and himself talking about a phone call they just got from their mother, and she had crossed over. So I pitched in and just said, it could be close to the anniversary of their death, or was it her birthday? And they looked at each other and were like, I think it was her birthday just recently. So they do that also, Spirit. I told them, just say thank you and acknowledge. That's all. Thank you and acknowledge. Great work, Spirit. Great work. Thank you to your loved one. The last way I'm going to tell you to do it is to contact my dad. And his name is Moose. I was doing a reading, and he sometimes come through, maybe 1 out of 50. My dad will come through for some help. And there was a woman I was reading whose husband had crossed a while ago, and she was a little anxious that she never gets signs from him. She knows that they're supposed to send signs, but she never gets signs. So I said, all right, let me contact my dad, and let my dad contact him, your husband, and my dad will show him where to go to learn how to communicate with your loved ones in the physical world. So we left it at that, and the next day she emailed me, and she said she was on her property. She owns a ranch or something, and she went into a building that she hadn't been in years, and it wasn't even occupied. It was an older building, and there was a radio in there that had turned on. It was on by itself. And again, no one's been in that building for years. And as she got closer to it, it was real staticky, and she could barely hear the music, but she knew that was a sign from her husband, from her loved one, and that my dad had helped. So I give you the permission to ask my dad. Just call on Moose. Just say, hey, Moose, Donna's dad, can you help my loved one? Give him your name, and then just say, can you help my loved one communicate with me? Can you show him what to do, him or her, what to do in the world of non-physical, so that I can hear from them? Love it. Okay, that's it for today, for today's lesson on how spirit communicates with you. Thanks for liking, thanks for sharing, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. Don't forget, readings with me. You can contact me via email. I'll put all my links below. Check out Instagram, some great quotes from Spirit, things that you won't see anywhere else. And wish me luck as well. I wish you guys luck. Have a wonderful day. See you now.